Hello, everyone. Welcome to the JLR Podcast Network. It's time for another episode of Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars, walkthrough and review. It's time for episode 7, and we have advanced quite a bit in this game. Well, still, I need to do my quick review. It's now become like the standard for each episode. So I'll keep it really quick this time. So, George Stobart, a young American. He was a young American. I'll keep singing David Bowie until I die. No, never mind. Yes, he's traveling in Paris and during the late 90s, near the millennium, and he's at a cafe and it's blown up by a killer clown who stole a briefcase from some guy right before he did it. And George survived the blast, but was like pissed off. This clown tried to kill me, and he stole this briefcase from this guy, so I'm gonna get him. And Nico teams freelance photojournalist. I keep messing this up every single goddamn episode. Never mind. Nico Collat teams up with him. They find a lot of evidence about the guy. His name is Khan. They found out that he had a manuscript hidden in his safe. That was probably the thing that he stole from Plant Art. That manuscript is about the Knights Templars. They tried to decipher it, but they obviously need help, so George went to the Khun machine to try to look for Lobino, but he wasn't there. But what he did locate was the tripod that was from the manuscript, and then it said it was found in Ireland. And then when he discussed to Nico about it, they found out that Professor Pegram was the one who had found it at that excavation in Lochmarn in Ireland, along with the gem that's also in the manuscript. So George went to Ireland, and in Ireland he was able to retrieve the gem from Pegram, but Pegram is missing and presumably dead by a pixie, aka Khan again. Well, he did drive over his lackey as a pixie in a Ferrari. So, and then there was a discovery in the castle in Lochmarn, the room that showed a picture of a hanging man and the word Montfaucon. So what happened? We were back in Paris, and we decided to do what Nico said, check on Lobino and then check on Rosso. So we did in that order. We went back to the Khun machine and finally found Andre Lobino. That, that guy is going to be always annoying in my personal opinion, but he's very helpful, but still really annoying. The first thing he said, would you like my autograph? The problem is I now look like Lobino. I have a ponytail like him. I've become Lobino. No! Never mind. So Lobino gave us a lot of information, but he needs to see the manuscript, so we gave him the address to Nico's apartment, which might have been a huge mistake. No. Well, he's all horned up by the idea of having to help a female friend. Yeah, he should get cancelled. Anyways, so yeah, but he also tells us about Montfaucon. It's a place in Paris where all the Templars were killed and executed and all that, burned alive on the stakes and stuff like that, and hanged, and obviously that's why the picture of the hanged man there. So we got all that information from him. Then we decided to go to the police station, talk to Rosso, and he said he's off the case, and he told us like, stay away, stop, you should not continue investigating, drop it right now, you would be in danger. And then we did mentioned the Templars to him, and like when we were not willing to accept, like he seemed very protective of the Templars, and when we were not saying that they were not this great organization, then he lost his temper with it. They were the first internationals, and he stormed off. He didn't want to talk to us again, and so, yeah, we messed him. Well, like, we really pissed him off. But Moo had already told us where Jacques Manquet was. He was the guy who was supposed to pick up the gem from Jean Fitzgerald in Ireland, but he never showed up. And he was hospitalized in Paris. And we were like, okay, who might have done that to him? Isn't that pretty obvious? It's probably Khan once again. So we go to the hospital, and we were not able to get access at the beginning. But then when we showed the Thomas Merlin, not Muller, when we showed his ID card, the clerk was just like, oh, so you're Merlin. Marquez has been just like asking about it. He was shouting out your name. So like we all of a sudden get a pass to get into get to see him, but we had to disguise ourselves as a doctor, and we had to take Benoit with us to help us work up pressure gates on some guy who kept stopping us, like, you have to check my blood pressure. It was really annoying. But anyway, so we finally got to Jacques Marquet, and Jacques Marquet, he told us so much stuff to unpack. It's just like, he talked about, oh, I thought you were the Hashashin, which is what which Khan must be, who was trying to kill him. And then he said, like, you should give the gem to the Grand Master. Who's the Grand Master? I've located the tripod in Paris. I'm sending 2 guys to pick it up. To rob it. It was Guido and Flap. Flap and Guido. Which way you say it, he usually says Flap and Guido. All right, and anyways, and yeah, he talked about that, and then he talked about a guy called Klausner. He went on a wild goose chase in Syria. He's in Syria, and he might have found something about, and then he wasn't able to finish his sentence because another doctor came in and told us to get the hell out of here, or else he would talk to Herr Hagemeyer and complain. But then as we left the room, all of a sudden, we heard that he was having a cardiac arrest, Jacques Marquet, and then we were not able to open the door, and we found out it was a bogus doctor, and then we were able to enter. The police guy shot the lock off the door, I'm guessing, and then we ran in, but it was too late. Jacques Marquet was dead. The bogus doctor who killed him was gone out the window. And then, because it was an extra long episode yesterday, I decided to go straight, yes, now finally I say I, not we, to go to the Kroon machine. We tried to warn Lobin about the tripod being stolen, but he didn't really want to listen to us that much, and he didn't want to give us the tripod, so we decided to hide in the sarcophagus. And then the museum was closed, and during the night, they showed up, flapping Guido. And I did save once and show you guys how, for the video, for those who are watching the video on YouTube, but the audio listeners weren't able to see it. But what basically happened, I once saved and showed out what would happen if you would just step in front of the guys like, hey, here I am, George. They would freak out, think you were a mummy, and then shoot you, and then dump your body bag into the river or ocean, whatever. And then R.I.P. just tombstone, you're dead again. So what George had to go behind that totem thing in there and then push it. The problem is there was a fish at the top of the totem that landed on George's head. The totem landed on the glass case and landed on Flap. So George was knocked out, Flap was knocked out, and then a woman came down swinging from a rope, and she kicked Guido, and then he was knocked out, and then the tripod was stolen by that woman, and George was like, oh god damn it, I messed it up, and I was at the police station. Rosso bailed me out, thank god, which is weird because we pissed him off about the Templars, but he was able to bail us out in that situation. And then Nico said, oh, you were a good distraction. I was like, what? It was Nico all the time. Nico was the one who went down the rope and kicked Guido and stole the tripod. So we were pissed off after. Now I'm saying we. Never mind. Focus. So, but yeah, Nico, we were able to forgive Nico, and now we have the gem and the tripod. We've kind of put the gem on the tripod, but nothing happened. So we're guessing it has to be located somewhere special. Anyways, let me just restore now. We're at this point. We're outside Rougerie, I'm guessing. Yeah, here we are. Rougerie. And it's time to... we have the gem and the tripod, but... Oh, she also told us Andrei Lobanov finally showed up at her place and checked the manuscript. And then he said something about he found something similar with the crest of the knight in the manuscript. So he wanted to look and see if he could find some more information about the crest, the knight's crest. So why not just go straight to the Museum Kroon, and just find out, well, first of all, is everything okay there? The tripod's been stolen. We actually have a tripod, so what would happen if I would show it to Lobanov? Game over? Let's just go to the Kroon Museum. He's probably gonna be upset about the tripod, but then, he might be happy to have met Nico and seen the manuscript. But it's important to know what he knows about the manuscript. The only thing we know, we saw those two. We have the two items, gem and tripod. But anything else in that manuscript, we have no idea what it's all about. It's just we know the Knights Templars logo, and that's it. There's the gem and the tripod, but then there's a bull's head. There's a guy working on a loom. Then there's the knight with the phrasing. I can't remember the phrase, and then the woman looking at her reflection, and the three hideous faces looking back. So here's Andre. Let's look at him.
He was a thin-faced, pallid guy with a questionable taste in outlandish clothes. My mother used to dress like that.
Yeah, it's the same as yeah. There's no chains there, but yeah. Am I gonna talk to him here?
Pardon me.
Damn it!
Oui, monsieur?
You're in the way.
It's you. Well, what do you want now? You're not going to try to hide in that closet again, are you?
Shall I talk about the tripod?
I hear your tripod was stolen.
Nothing travels faster than bad news. It is true. It happened last night. I always said that alarm was no good.
What happens if I show the tripod?
Do you recognize this tripod?
It is vaguely familiar.
I should think it is.
Very similar to the one which we used to have here at the museum. In fact,
that's what I thought.
But this is obviously a poor copy.
Right.
We just talked about the tripod, and you showed that nincompoop couldn't recognize the tripod. It was just there the other day.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks for your help, but you're in the freaking way. We cannot. His big head is in front. He's near the screen, right? But his head is now in front of where Labino is. We were not able to talk to him, but now he's moving around the museum, so... Stupid security guard. Let's now talk to Labino. We finally have a chance. Hey, Labino.
Hi, Andre.
Andre Labino.
Hello, Georgie.
What's with the long face?
Long face?
Haven't you heard? The tripod was stolen.
No kidding.
I just don't get it. So many other treasures, and the thieves choose the tripod.
A modern-day alchemist, perhaps?
Who knows? There's no shortage of crazies in Paris. Hey, I visited Nicole's apartment.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah, she told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy.
Ugh.
I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oui, of course.
Me too. I hope you're referring to the manuscript. I'm wondering, if we show him the tripod, what happens then?
Oh, Andre?
Oui?
What would you say if I told you I knew who'd taken the tripod?
I'd call the police and have them arrested.
That's what I thought.
Who was it?
Oh, I don't know, really. It was just a hypothetical question.
That's too bad. If I could get my hands on a thief, I'd wring his neck.
Okay. We're not able to show the tripod. Well, we could talk about the tripod, but okay. We have the tripod, by the way. So, anyways, manuscript. What can you tell us more about the manuscript, Labino? Please indulge us.
What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusades.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
Modern-day comic book? Really?
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Tourists?
Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
That's weird. Really? Just for tourists? Nothing else? Let's ask more about the manuscript.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras.
Who's he?
A Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
So it has to be a Spanish knight. Okay. So if he's Spanish, what else can you tell us?
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No. They're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They're probably long dead.
So we have identified the knight and which family he's from. Let's ask him more about the manuscript.
Do you think the manuscript could be the map to the Templar treasure?
Frankly, no. That's too far-fetched. The manuscript is interesting enough and a rare find, but that's all.
Wouldn't it be terrific if it was a map, though? The treasure of the Knights Templar.
A romantic notion, Georgie, but extremely improbable.
And that's it. There's nothing else we can ask him about the manuscript. But that is quite the information about that knight.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
So what happens now? Well, if I leave the museum and then we leave the museum and we're gonna leave and go to the map of Paris. We still have Montfaucon left, right? We still haven't even gone to that place that he talked about first. But in the director's cut, you would go to Montfaucon first and do your business there, which we have to do. And I'm not going to spoil what that is. The thing is, it used to be in this original game, and it still is. You can either do the Montfaucon thing first, or you can go to the airport. Why can you go to the airport? Because you can go to Spain, Villa de Vasconcelos. So I don't know why in the director's cut all of a sudden you're no longer able to do that before you go to Montfaucon. I've played the director's cut a couple of times. It's like, after the stealing the tripod, you have to go to Montfaucon and do your business there before you can go to Spain. But in this game, it's optional. You can go to Spain first and then do Montfaucon, or do Montfaucon first and then go to Spain. So I'm going to do the opposite of what I did last time. Last time I did there were two options. We could go straight to Ireland or go to Nico and tell her about Ireland and get the information about Professor Pegram. And that option is now, going to Nico's place first before going to Ireland is now the only options available in the director's cut. So we did the option that's the only available option in director's cut. So now we're going to do the opposite. I'm going to do the option that is no longer available in the director's cut, which is to go to Spain first before we go to Montfaucon. Even though we got the information about Montfaucon, like in Ireland, it's been quite a while ago. We got the information. We're going to go to Spain on this new, fresh information about the knight in the manuscript. He is Spanish, and he's part of the Villa de Vasconcelos. The Vasconcelos. So let's go to Spain. We're going to Spain. We're traveling to another country again. We're leaving Paris. And here he is. George has arrived. And it looks like a very old fort or something. Ave Maria. Gratia something something. So that's the entrance. We have arrived in Spain. What have we over here? And
I'm no student of architecture, but the little building looked old. I wondered if it was some sort of summer house.
There's a little building. It's a pretty old-looking building, but he's calling it maybe it's a summer house. I highly doubt that. There's a gardener here watering the garden.
There was a crotchety old guy watering the lawn. If this garden was all his own work, he was more capable than he looked.
It is a really magnificent garden, like a lot of trees. Looks very big. It's a really bright orange hose. Shall we talk to this gardener? Let's ask him a few questions.
Hi, is this the de Vasconcelos house?
Who wants to know?
I could tell the old coot was going to be trouble.
Oh.
My name's George Stobart. I was wondering whether...
The house is not open to the public.
This is the de Vasconcelos house.
And what business is that of yours, senor?
Look, all I want is to speak to the head of the household.
There is no household. Only the Countess and myself.
Only the Countess and myself. So we get two icons. We get the Templars and then a picture of an old woman. That's probably the Countess. Can we ask about the Countess?
Tell me about the Countess de Vasconcelos.
She doesn't receive guests. That's all you need to know.
You don't even know what I have to talk to her about.
She hasn't won the lottery, has she?
The lottery? So we can say yes or we can say no, but we are truthful, George. We have no idea if she won the lottery. Let's just say no.
No, she hasn't won the lottery.
A more cunning man might have claimed that she had.
Oh yeah? They might have, might they?
And that more cunning man would have been kicked off the premises. The Countess doesn't do the lottery.
See, we were truthful, so he said we would have been just kicked off if we would have lied to him. Let's ask about the Templars. Does he have any idea about the Templars?
What do you know about the Templars?
Who wants to know?
Are you angling for a bribe or something?
You have nothing that I want, senor, except the pleasure of your absence.
The guy was obviously protecting the Countess against the whole world. But why?
He's really protective, and he's not going to be easy to deal with. Shall we show him a picture of Khan? Maybe Khan has been snooping around?
Do you recognize this man?
No.
No. Pretty straightforward. Probably has never seen him. Does he know anything about the gem?
See this gem? Men have died for it.
Do I look as if I care?
Couldn't care less. What about the tripod?
What do you think of this tripod?
I think nothing of it.
We're not getting anywhere with this guy, so let's just leave.
Okay. Well, I'll see you around.
Adios.
Adios, amigos. Amigos? Amigos. There's a way back here? What's this? Can we go behind the house?
It was then I realized I'd left home without my pocket siege engine.
No, okay, I see it now. There's a huge, like garden wall here or something. A lot of trees. Yeah, we're not able to get through here. Pocket siege engine. Okay, what's this?
The main part of the house was old, but nowhere near as old as the gatehouse section.
Yeah, the gatehouse section is like a part of the old fort or something. But this house looks pretty old. Let's see. Can we go inside? We're on our way. What the
Hey,
hell?
you.
Yeah? What is it?
You would not like it if people just wandered into your home, would you?
Uh-oh.
Well, no, I guess not.
Then show a little consideration.
Okay. Sorry.
He does not want us to enter the house at all. So we are not going to be able to do that while he's there. So it's always the same thing, right? You need to either get rid of the guys if you want to go somewhere, or make them do something else. So let's look at the huge orange hose here. It leads all the way to
The hose ran from some sort of utility room all the way to the lawn.
So the hose is it's probably in a utility room somewhere inside the house. So we cannot go inside the house, but can we do something with the hose here outside? What could we do?
I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone.
All right. We're not going to obviously take the hose away from him. He's still using it. Is there something we can mess up with the hose with? What happens if you hold the hose and pressure it? The water stops running, right? Well, what
It was a device used for measuring people's blood pressure.
We still have the pressure gauge. Benoit gave it back to us, so why not use it here on this hose and see what happens? Music cue. George walks back, heads towards the gardener, and his hose. All of a sudden, water is no longer coming out of his hose. He's pissed off.
My hose has stopped.
He's pointing at George.
See, my hose never stops.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it. It's always sad when an old tradition comes to an end.
Did you have anything to do with it? See, you.
Well, I'm shocked. I'm mortified. How could you think such a thing?
How could you
Very
think such a
easily,
thing?
senor. Very easily. I'm going to find out why my horse has stopped. And that means going into the house. You are not, absolutely not, to go in the house. If you do go in the house, I will set the dogs on you.
Oh. So he has mean guard dogs, I think, inside the house. But there he goes. He is going inside the house. And he did obviously tell us, I'm just going to save here. I don't think we can die, but just in case, save. So obviously he doesn't want us to go into the house, and really, he didn't really warn us about sending guard dogs against him, but obviously we need to get inside the house to talk to the... What was it that he said he called her? I have no short-term memory. I forget things all the time. Okay, he's over here.
I could see the gardener trying to figure out what was wrong with the hose. Time for cat-footed stealthiness.
Cat-footed stealthiness. So he's in this utility room, and next to it are the stairs that go up to the second floor. Can we just go up to the second floor? Could we just walk past by him like this? Nope. He will notice
Hey, you on the stairs.
you.
Oops.
I know this doesn't look good, but
Look, senor, all I want is a quiet life. A life without mad, house-breaking foreigners in it. Understand?
Look, I just wanted to, use the bathroom.
Leave now, please.
Okay, I'm going.
Okay, and then he's escorting us outside, telling us to go out. Alright, so... And he's shaking his fist at us. But he went back inside because he's still trying to fix that hose thing. So let's just go back inside. We really are not listening to his advice there. But he's been really he's not like been really bad to us. So there's there's a statue here.
I love suits of armor.
A suit of armor.
Who doesn't?
Sorry. It's a suit of armor raised up. It's not a statue. Can we do something with the suit of armor?
The armor was about my size.
Oh.
I had a mental vision of putting it on and clanking off to see the Countess, with the
Countess.
gardener hanging hopelessly on the outside trying to stop me. Apart from being stupid and unworkable, it was a great plan.
About the same size. So we were able to kind of hide behind this thing. But there's also an entrance here on the first floor. Where does this one lead? Let's go there. That's the dogs. We've just awakened the dogs. What should we do? Let's hide behind the statue. The dogs are really barking.
I hid behind the armor and waited for developments.
What's gonna happen?
Hey, you. I know you are there, American.
Oh no.
All right, you dogs, I'm coming.
Wait, he didn't notice us? He just said, I know you're there, but he didn't notice us, and he walked past the suit of armor into the room where the dogs are. That means we have a chance now to go up the stairs to see the Countess. Let's get up there. Hurry, George, hurry. All right. Wow. Cue the flamingo guitar. The Countess standing up.
Madre Dios, who are you?
Shot.
My name's George Stobart. I'm sorry to burst in like this.
You must leave at once. You're not wanted here.
Please, if you'd just listen a minute.
Very well. State your business, Senor Stobart.
There's been a series of murders, part of some conspiracy. Anyway, the trail led me here.
Here? There is nothing for the outside world here.
Over 600 years ago there was.
What do you mean?
This whole thing ties in somehow with the Knights Templar.
The Knights Templar are dust.
They had a secret that was so important, they went to a lot of trouble to hide it.
I do not see what this has to do with my family.
Your family had a strong connection with the Templars, right? I believe that they have planted some clues here.
Why should I believe a complete stranger who barges into my home?
Just let me have a look around. If I find nothing...
You'll be spending the night at the police station. Very well. Please, sit down.
Okay.
Thank you.
She did threaten us with the police, but she's allowing him to sit down. So now we have the option to talk to her about basically the Templars. We could show her all the other items, but that's about it. But this is a really nice room that she's in. There's a... what is this, a wild boar here? On the head of a wild boar on the wall. Nice antique clock. There's a chess set here. White and red chess set on the table here in between us. We can ask about the Templars, but shall we ask about Khan, just to make sure she hasn't seen him?
Do you recognize this man?
No, I have never seen him before in my life. Who is he?
I've got a couple of names for him, but they're probably false. He's the killer.
No, his face is utterly unfamiliar.
Good. At least he hasn't been here. Yet.
Okay, yet. Don't worry the Countess, man. What about the gem?
Maybe not.
Okay, we're not allowed to show the gem. He just said to himself, maybe not. Same thing with the tripod?
No.
Yeah, we're not. I'm guessing because if you do the... No, I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, never mind. Let's just ask about the Templars.
I know your family is involved with the Templars, but I don't know how.
You should be asking how my family were involved, Senor Stobart. The Templars ceased to exist centuries ago. And as for the De Vasconcelos, the line dies with me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
So she's the last living member of the family. Let's ask more about the Templars.
Okay. Whatever happened almost 700 years ago. So, if the Templars left any clues, they're going to be in stuff that dates back to the early 14th century.
Good thinking.
Obviously.
So, what do you have around here that's early medieval?
Early medieval. Let me think. Well, the house is relatively modern, a scant 3 centuries old. Or, of course, the chess set.
Oh.
That chess set is over 600 years old? It must be worth a fortune.
Indeed it is. Not that I would part with it, of course.
No, I wouldn't either. That's the sort of thing that gets handed down to your children. Sorry.
She doesn't.
Its value is less than you might think. The set is not complete. One of the pieces is a modern replacement. As to the original, it was lost a long time ago.
Nobody has any idea where it is?
No. The children had it when they were taken.
Children? What children?
All in good time, Senor Stobart.
The children had it when they were taken. Who are the children? Who knows? Anyways, let's ask about the chess set.
May I examine the chess set?
Certainly. But do not move any of the pieces.
Okay, thanks. Close up, the modern piece stood out like a sore thumb. There was something else odd about the set. All of the original pieces had irregular bases.
My lady, I have to warn you, there's a...
The gardener just showed up.
You! Why, I'll feed you to the dogs.
Lopez, what have I told you about feeding intruders to the dogs?
But, my lady...
Never without my permission. Senor Stobart, if I find that you're wasting my time, you will be fed to the dogs.
All right.
Now, I want to show you something interesting.
Ooh,
Follow me.
We get to see something else then, right? Oh, it's what he thought it was a summer house.
Lopez, unlock the door, Papa.
We're now outside the so-called summer house that George thought it was.
This is the only remaining structure on the estate contemporary with the Templars.
Okay.
Nice. What is it, a summer house?
A mausoleum, Senor Stobart.
You idiot.
Oh.
Come with me.
Couldn't be far from being a summer
Hey,
house.
senor.
Yeah?
I do not know what you have told my lady to be shown these favors, but I do not trust you.
You've got nothing to worry about. Aren't you coming in?
No, the dead do not interest me. My garden is a living thing. I will be there.
He really doesn't trust us, but so be it. So we're going inside the mausoleum. The mausoleum that's been here since the Templars. Okay. Wow. It looks pretty old inside.
Wow, this is old.
Just said
It
that.
was constructed in the 13th century as the final resting place for the De Vasconcelos Templars.
Wow.
It's well maintained.
These are my ancestors, and they deserve respect. I come here at least once a week to say a prayer for them.
Mind if I have a look around?
By all means.
Let's look around then. So, there are these coffins here, and it almost looks like under the seal that it is a dead body, but it's probably just the structure of the coffin, the top of the coffin, to have it look like a person laying there with a shield on it. But let's look at it.
The mausoleum contained 5 tombs for 5 of the Knights Templar, man-size in marble.
Man size in marble. That indeed.
I wasn't about to start heaving at sarcophagus lids with the Countess standing there.
Obviously not. If she's standing there, that would she would probably get pissed. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one missing, and there's something open over the other sarcophagus, the other coffin spot. Something's where there is not. There's one that's closed off. I wonder what it is. The one where there's not a coffin, where there's not a sarcophagus. There is kind of like, it looks like a kind of a small opening. Like I wonder what it is. Kind of a small door, a small cupboard or something. But yeah, the others seem to be open. What's this?
A big statuette of the Virgin Mary kept an eye on the place.
Ah, I see. And then there's a candle up here in the top.
Hanging from the ceiling was a huge yellowed candle. It looked really old and had never been lit.
Interesting. Then there's the window.
High up in the dome were windows. I guess they might open them to make it less stuffy in there.
All right. What is this?
It was a rod with a cone and a hook on the end.
Ah,
I guessed it was for snuffing out the big candle in the chandelier.
could be. And also to close the window, I suppose. What's over here?
In front of the shrine was a lectern with a Bible on it.
Okay. A lectern with a Bible on it. Shall we check it out? We took
On
the Bible
removing
off.
the Bible, I found a pattern on the lectern top.
Hmm.
Hey, it's a checkerboard!
Checkerboard? Let's look at it again.
The lectern top had a pattern of glass squares on it.
Glass squares. What could that possibly mean? Let's look at the contest here. Oh, he doesn't say anything. Let's talk to her then.
May I ask you something?
You may ask.
All right. Let's ask about the sarcophagus.
Who exactly are these people?
My ancestors. These 5 men were all members of the Templars.
5 ancestors in the order. You must be very proud.
Not 5, 6.
Where's the 6th knight?
Ah, sorry.
He was lost to us.
You lost an ancestor?
It is a family matter. It can have no relevance.
Well, it's connected with the curse of the De Vasconcelos, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I hope you will honor my desire not to talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll leave it for now.
So it's the 6. Yeah, I miscounted. I'm stupid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This open area here is the 6th one. So there are 6. One went missing. All right. So I ask about the statue of Maria.
Is the Virgin Mary really the right person to be sharing a mausoleum with 5 knights?
You are showing your ignorance, Senor Stobart. The
Completely.
Templars were dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
George, I know that stupid question was just going to get a bad answer. What about the candle?
That's a big candle. Where would you buy a thing like that from?
You could not. It is an antique, unique to my knowledge.
Just how old is it?
It dates from the Middle Ages, when the Moors controlled Spain.
Wow.
The candle was to be lit as a signal to the estate workers if the Moors attacked.
I see. All right, so that candle is pretty damn old too. Let's ask about the Templars again.
You certainly know your history.
What's your opinion of the Templars, Senor Stobart?
The Templars? Well, they seem no worse than a lot of the knightly orders.
You are mistaken. Compared to the simpering politicians of the Hospitallers or the brutish Teutonics, the Knights Templar were the embodiment of chivalry. The filthy, money-grabbing French king and his pet pope did a great wrong. A bane settled upon my family at the whim of that self-seeking tyrant.
It was all a long time ago.
Some things don't die. Injustice is one of them.
Philippe Lebel, that crazy cool. We can't ask her anything else.
Okay,
I
thanks.
wonder why.
Not at all.
Maybe we should examine the sport more closely.
Close up, I could see that the pattern was made up of glass squares over a checkerboard pattern. Some of the squares had little jagged holes in the middle.
Little jagged holes in the middle. Maybe we could mention that to the Countess?
Would you tell me something?
What do you want to know?
Yes. We can talk about the chessboard. It basically... He said it was a checkerboard. It's obviously a chessboard, right?
What's the story with the glass chessboard?
Glass chessboard. Oh, the pattern on the lectern. Purely decorative, I'm sure.
There are pieces of glass missing from it.
It has been like that since I was a girl.
Really? You didn't think it's peculiar? It looks like a chessboard? Like the old medieval chessboard from... from the Templars that you have in your living room. Let's ask about the chessboard again.
The gaps in the glass chessboard look awfully deliberate.
No, it is ridiculous. What possible significance can it have?
It's part of a chessboard, and the gaps are for...
Senor Stobart, you cannot mean...
This place was built for the Templars. Your chess set is as old as the Templars. It's kind of suggestive, isn't it?
Now we can ask about the chess set. She's probably baffled that she never thought about it after all these years. Let me ask her.
I think this must be it. This is what the manuscript is pointing to.
This is extraordinary. Am I to understand that the Templars left a puzzle here? And in all of this time we failed to realize that there was a puzzle?
She just hit her
It
own
was
head.
wonderful to watch the Countess change before my eyes.
Right. Well, no time for wallowing in self-pity, eh, Senor Stobart? This mystery has had a good long run, but it ends here and now.
Wow, we really lit her.
All those years of fatalism were falling away from her.
She's going outside now.
Lopez! Lopez! Put that hose down and listen!
His name's Lopez.
Go to the house and get my chess set. Yes, the old chess set!
The gardener.
Oh, damn the game!
The game.
Now, hurry!
He's probably listening to a soccer game. Or a football, as they say.
My, this is exciting, is it not?
Don't get too excited. This could be a blind alley.
Oh, I do not believe that for a moment.
It's good to see you happy.
Happy? You know, I think I am.
So now we can ask more about the Templars, but it's very peculiar that she never realized that that could be a pattern. The chessboard on basically where the Bible was located at the altar, and then the actual chessboard with the chess pieces back in the house. So let's ask more about the Templars.
While we're waiting, I'd really like to know what happened here. I mean, the curse and everything.
It all began at the time of the dissolution of the Templars. Don Carlos had already left their ranks to become a scholar.
Don Carlos, is he the guy who went missing?
Si, but he had reckoned without the local bishop. Their bishop envied us our lands and determined to use the papal edict as an excuse to destroy us. Don Carlos was on one of his scholarly journeys when the Inquisition arrived. When Don Carlos returned, it was to find his loyal manservant slain and his children gone.
They took the kids? But why?
Oh, we will never know. The bishop denied all knowledge of the children's disappearance. But witnesses had seen his men kill the servant who had been charged to protect them.
What happened to Don Carlos?
He swore he'd find his children if he had to go to the edge of the world. He put on his armor and took up his sword and shield and rode out alone. He was never seen again.
I wonder what happened to his children.
Lopez, you have the pieces.
Here comes Lopez.
Si, my lady, as you asked.
Por favor, Senor Stobart, would you be so kind?
My lady.
Calm yourself, Lopez. I believe Senor Stobart's motives are pure.
Very well, my lady.
Lopez is pissed off that she likes George.
My lady seems to trust you.
But you don't.
No, senor.
Alright, so George takes the chess set from Lopez, and now he is going to the altar again, to the glass checkerboard. Some of the glass pieces are
It
missing.
fits, Senor Stobart. It fits.
Working quickly, I found which pieces went into which holes.
Okay, so he's putting some of the pieces into the glass board there. And here we have it. So, we have a chessboard. So, we have red pieces and the white pieces in the middle. So, the red pieces, we have a rook here at the top corner left. The king next to it. There's a bishop down here. I'm guessing, is this a pawn or is this yeah, it's probably a pawn, right? It's not a knight, is it? I'm not sure. Maybe it is a knight. That's a bishop for sure, right? That's a queen. And then that's a, yeah. That's, maybe it's a knight. I think because this might be a pawn. I have no idea. Never mind. So let's move. What do we want to do here? In complete honesty, I kind of discovered the solution
No way.
completely randomly when I was a kid playing this back in the day. But okay, so I still remember the solution. You just needed to put the bishop at the top.
Senor Stobart, look!
What is that? It's not the Holy Grail, is it?
No, Senor Stobart. It is the communion chalice of the de Vasconcelos.
So that thing opened
Missing
up.
for almost 700 years.
Wow.
The place where there's
Well,
no...
go on.
I cannot. I can hardly believe it is real.
Go ahead. Live a little.
Are you sure? This is your moment of triumph, Senor Stobart.
Sure, I'm sure. The possibility of death traps only occurred to me a few days later.
Yeah. You complete fool. Well, a few days later. Anyways, but that thing opened where there's no sarcophagus and it was kind of closed off in the wall. That thing all of a sudden opened and there was a chalice there. Looked like the Holy Grail, like he said. So we're back at Nico's apartment and we're sitting in the sofa.
So the curse of the de Vasconcelos is lifted?
Oh no. The Countess was thrilled to find the lost chalice. But there's still the riddle of the missing knight.
Well, you can forget about that now and get back to finding the Templars' secret.
Actually, I promised the Countess I'd find Don Carlos.
You what?
I can explain everything.
You have got the odds for a withered old Spanish aristocrat?
The Countess entrusted me with the chalice and the quest for her ancestor's tomb.
You're as crazy as she is. Haven't you got enough problems? Khan and the Templars?
It's all part of the same thing. The chalice is important, I'm sure. The manuscript pointed us to the knight, and I have to find him.
What then?
I don't know. But when the knight and the chalice are reunited, maybe I will.
So we need to find the knight and we need to know what the chalice will do. So we can ask about the chalice.
This is the chalice I discovered in Spain.
I still can't figure out why the Countess gave it to you. After losing it for all those years, she simply gave it away to a total stranger? She's one prawn short of a paella.
The Countess is a fine lady, You shouldn't compare her with seafood.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on between you and that countess.
Are you serious? She's old enough to be my grandmother.
She's jealous. Shall we look at the manuscript real quick?
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Because now we all of a sudden have that, we have this chalice, right? So, what is that gonna lead us to? And what is it in the, by the way, the clue with the chessboard thing. So, it was basically, I had to put a play that made a checkmate, basically. But, so, I just still randomly remembered it. It's the bishop at the top, the knight in the middle, and then... because it's a small chessboard. It's like 5 by 5, and then 2 rows from the bottom, he would put the king there, and then he's checkmate, I suppose. Never mind. So we have asked about the tripod and the gem. What about the knight?
The knight scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened.
So we know that one. That knight is Spanish. What about the loom?
That's the clue that led me to Spain.
Okay. So that basically the naval nation working on loom. That was the clue to Spain. So that's a clue to Spain. And then the knight is Spanish when we have the chalice. But what does through... Let me see. Listen once again.
The knight scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings... you will be enlightened.
Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's something about the knight that there's something he will enlighten us about. So he's definitely a big part of it. And then the crystal ball, whatever the hell that is. And then this woman looking at her reflection, 3 hideous faces. And then where do the tripod and the gem go? What's it all about, folks? I'm going to continue because we are, I haven't even gotten to the hour yet. So we can now leave Nico.
I have to go.
Okay, I'll see you later.
See you later, Nico. So in this game, like I said before, we could have done this in the director's cut. This part, going to Spain, getting the chalice, would not have been possible. We have not been able to do this before going to Montfaucon. But in the original, you had the option to go either Montfaucon or go to Spain first. So now, and yeah, we need to find that knight sometime. Let's finally go to Montfaucon. That's one of the first things we asked Lobino about. And here we are. There's a cafe here.
A typically Parisian sidewalk cafe. Last time I visited one of those, it blew up.
Yeah.
I decided I was happy enough right where I was.
Let's not go near the cafe. There's a gendarme, a policeman here, sitting by a table, drinking.
I once read a list of low-stress jobs. It didn't include police work. Obviously, this guy hadn't read the same list.
He's just chilling there. We have a lot of tourists here. Let's look at the tourists.
There was a small crowd of 5 sightseers. It's a weird thing, but you can take the most intelligent people in the world, put them in their vacation duds, and hey presto, they look like morons. Why is that?
That is actually a good point. Now, what do we have here? What is this
The juggler
character?
was good. Why he
A
couldn't
juggler.
put that kind of application into getting a real job, I had no idea. Maybe he just liked dressing up like a horse's ass.
George, you are brutal. Isn't that classism or something when you're mocking someone for someone who went to be a professional jongleur? Oh, I said a jongleur. He said juggler. I gave away something. All right. What's this?
In the middle of the square was a manhole. I wondered if there might be something relevant beneath street level.
A manhole? Wait, don't we still have the T-shaped tool?
It was a metal rod with a handle at one end and a short crosspiece at the other.
Why not just open the cover then? Maybe there's something down there. Let's open it.
Hey! Hey, you! What do you think you are doing? Leave that cover alone. Now.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, no harm intended.
You stay away from that.
Okay, so there is that manhole cover, but the police sitting there by the cafe immediately yelled at us and told us don't do that. Do not open that manhole cover. We are able to go inside this church here. Let's have let's ask this Jean. I already gave away one.
Hey,
Okay, listen.
you with the balls.
The juggler. The guy with the balls.
Oui?
Let's ask him some question about himself. What do you see?
How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No, I am a jongleur.
A jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu. A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contragravitic aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crowned heads of Europe had the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders, plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so.
Nice sarcastic takedown. Let's ask more about the juggling part.
That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
All right.
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be?
So George is going to try to juggle the balls, and he
A lot more difficult than I thought. That's how difficult. Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Yeah, they're all booing him. Yeah.
Not so easy after all, is it?
No, I guess not.
Not a good juggler at all. Shall we ask something about the Templars?
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Le Templier? Ah, the last Grand Master, Jacques du Molay, was burnt on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow. You're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
I see. There's a board behind him at this very old. Is it a church? There's an old-looking building. So, shall we ask him about the gem or the tribe now? What about Khan? Has he seen Khan?
Have you seen this man before?
No.
No. What about he's dressed up kind of like a clown. Does he want a red nose?
Look, a red nose.
Ah, you are a clown.
A clown?
No. If so, you would be a much better jongleur.
For a moment, an idea capered around near the spotlight of my attention,
Mm-hmm.
but fell down the pothole of abstraction before I could focus on it.
I wonder what he's suggesting with that he had an idea in his mind. Okay. Never mind. Let's
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
leave this juggler guy. So obviously we need to get rid of the gendarme, right? We need to get rid of the...
The juggler was
policeman.
good. Why he couldn't put that... Maybe he just...
I was trying to look at the sign behind him, but it's impossible while he's juggling. See?
An architectural echo of the gallows that once used to stand here.
How do we get rid of the police? Let's talk to him.
Excuse me,
Someone's
officer.
in the kitchen.
And how may I help you?
Police officer, we're trying to access the manhole cover. Let's ask questions about him.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
Okay. This, talk about bad policing. Although he's not beating people up. But, yeah. Shall we ask about the Templars?
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
It's the same as the juggler. Trying to own their information. All right. What about the juggler?
What do you think of the juggler?
Ah, he is excellent, most watchable.
But he's blocking the thoroughfare and obstructing traffic.
Ah.
So? He is amusing. The traffic isn't. If he wants to block it, who am I to say no?
You're a cop.
Ah, oui. So I am. Ah, well.
Do something about the juggler. We can still ask about the juggler.
So you're not going to do anything about this guy?
No.
He probably doesn't even have a license.
Ah, a license. This I had not considered.
So what are you going to do?
The instant I return to the station, I shall check.
Return to the station? Why not just ask him?
And spoil his concentration? What kind of a barbarian do you take me for?
So we have a really lazy cop here. So how are we gonna get rid of him? We have we have been able to get rid of people before by showing them some of our items. What about Khan? Has he seen Khan?
Have you seen this man before?
No. Who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
Oh.
Is that all you can say? Oh.
I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac. But it didn't seem polite.
So he doesn't believe anything about that. Hasn't seen him. What about the tripod?
What do you know about medieval ironmongery? Have a look at this little baby.
A tripod? What is it for?
You mean you don't know?
No, monsieur. Nor do you, I think.
That might be true. What about the gem?
Look at this gem. What do you think?
Cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
So either it's glass or I'm mad? I didn't like to think about that for too long.
That's true. Either it's glass or George, you're completely mad. So we're not getting anything with the other item. What about that? Try any of the other items. What about the nose?
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah, you are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
No, although you juggle like one.
Oh.
Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing. And not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Who ever heard of a plainclothes clown?
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur, you have it.
Well, that is quite the advice he's giving us. So all of a sudden, he's telling us we should...
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
He's telling us to perform the juggling bit as a clown rather than as a, because it's funny when a clown messes up and does stupid things. So what happens if we go up to the juggler and talk to him again?
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
See, now we get the option to juggle again. Let's see what happens.
I'd like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps?
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
All right. Let's see what happens.
Okay, now for my secret weapon.
Secret weapon. He puts on the nose, starts juggling, the balls fall on him. And what happens? The audience
The juggler
loves
was
it.
speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury.
Pissed off.
Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear.
He forgot his red
Better
ball.
still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change.
He's put on his hat and he's gone. The gendarme is gone. We got rid of both of the juggler and the gendarme because we followed his advice to use the clown nose to entertain the people. They were laughing because when you mess up as a clown, that's funny. That's what entertaining. When you mess up not dressed as a clown, it's not funny enough. This actually, when I first played Broken Sword, this is the part where I was just stuck for the longest. I think, yeah, longer than anything else, longer than the goat puzzle, anything. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I was talking to the jungler and I couldn't jungle again, and I was trying to get rid of the gendarme. I had no, I might have forgotten to ask about the clown nose, but then finally the option popped up and I was like, oh, I was supposed to do that. Anyways, this red ball here.
It was the bright red ball I'd got from the juggler.
He forgot to use it, pick it up, I suppose. Anyways, shall we open this, go into the sewers? You're wondering, why would you go inside this church here at Montpensier? Well, honestly, the more interesting things are down the sewers. Let's take a look. We will be back to Montpensier after this. Don't you worry. And we will be definitely in that church. But for the moment, let's explore the sewers. Now these sewers look completely different from any of the other sewers. What's this? It's going over the bridge. There's a boat.
The recent showers had made the levels rise a little, but at least the place didn't smell so much.
Okay, so he's just talking about the water. But so, like, there's a boat here, right?
A weird little boat lay tied up. I guess they used it to get maintenance crews around. Either that or the Phantom of the Opera was somewhere near.
It sure looks it's a setting for a Phantom of the Opera. It's such a big-looking sewer, like much bigger than the sewers we went the first time around, right? And things just look medieval down here. What is this wheel?
There was a handle in the boat that fed out chain with a hook on the end.
Okay, let's look at the hook.
A hook dangled from the end of a heavy-duty chain.
Okay, so we have all these. What are
There were
these?
3 arches, each with an inscription.
3 archers on this wall. If we look at each one of them.
Close up, I could see a faded inscription. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe.
The gallows, okay. Is it the same for the middle door? We went to the one to the
The
left.
inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence.
All right, interesting. What about the last one here? The one to
The
the right.
inscription was undecipherable. The plaster had cracked and was falling away. I wondered why.
Plaster had cracked and falling away? That doesn't seem like something that's stable. Shall we... What?
It was a metal rod with a handle at one end and a short crosspiece at the other.
Yeah, the T-shaped tool. This thing has helped us with cracks before. We put it into a crack at the wall at the Lochmarn Castle to try to climb it up. What about this crack here? He's tapping it with the T-shape.
Hey! That's hollow! It was time for some brutal destruction.
There it is. The thing is hollowed. And now we have a hole in it. Now let's look through the hole.
I'd poked a hole in an historical site. If any archaeologists came by, they'd lynch me for this.
What happens if we interact with the hole?
Close up, I could see the plaster was thinner where I'd broken through. And behind it were some cogs and a lever.
Some cogs and a lever. Okay, that means this can move. This door or whatever it is. How do we get this moved out of the way? Well, shall we go to the boat?
On the boat was a winching machine.
Let's see if we can't use this winching machine. Okay. Now the chain is now all on the floor.
The hook lay in a bed of chain.
Well, yeah, a bed of chain. Now let's pick up the hook and hook it up to the door. Oh, wait. We're not able to do that yet.
Here goes.
Oh.
Hey, cool.
We were able to... sorry, yes. So first, through the hole, we were able to handle something in there. And the cog started moving, but what happened? It stopped.
The secret door had jammed. I couldn't get through that gap.
So it is a secret door, but it jammed. And now the gap is too small. We cannot go through it. And what about the hole in the door?
I'd pulled the lever right over.
We have pulled the lever, but it was not good enough. The door is stuck now.
Inside the hole, I could see one of the cogs had come loose and jammed the mechanism solid.
Right, so the cogs, they're not working properly. Now I think we can hook that thing to the door. Yep. So, let's look at it again.
I'd pulled the lever right over.
Oh, yes. But we pulled the lever over and now it's...
Inside the hole, I could see one of
the... it's the same. He's just repeating. So, what happens now? We're going to have to wheel it in, I suppose. Wheel the door in. What happens? Oh! That thing is broken up. And now we have a way inside. All right. So here we are. There's this secret cave here.
The door mechanism was trashed.
Yeah, we completely trashed the door mechanism. So what do we have here? There's a stairs that are, steps that are going down this cave here. There's some light coming from there, and then there's a small hole here in the wall. So let's see. I'm just gonna save here because we can get killed, and there's a reason why. Let's see if we were just gonna go down the steps like la di da di da. What could possibly be there? La di da di da. See what happens then. He's walking down.
I could hear voices from the lit area.
Voices from the lit area. Now you don't want to be stupid and just move on forward and think, oh, that's just gonna be safe to go there. No. Did I save? Save. I saved. So I could show you what happens if you just... I heard voices. I'm still going down there. Yanny. I'm like Officer Brockberry. What's his name in South Park? So George goes down there. What happens?
This was it. The conspiracy was revealed. Okay, nobody move. I'm making a citizen's arrest. At last, I had them. I could see the fear in their eyes as their little scheme came to pieces.
Yes.
You're all going away for a very long time. And you can just drop those guns.
Uh-oh.
You're impressing nobody.
They have guns. There's a guy digging a hole. What is this? George being buried? R.E.P. Tombstone? You're dead again. So, obviously, he spotted the conspiracy. He spotted the people we're restoring back here. So don't go down there where they have guns. They will shoot you. What about this little hole here?
There was a crack in the wall. Through it, I could see a glimmer of natural light.
Shall we look through the hole then?
In the beginning was the end.
Ooh.
An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness.
It's really loud.
In the end will be a beginning. An end to our enemies heralds our new day.
Jesus Christ.
Report. The military establishments are in flux. The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Guy in a red suit, bald guy.
Good. Mademoiselle?
Mademoiselle?
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex for their own executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
So that guy was British.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower.
South Africa.
We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over forethought and planning in all the major governments. They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Excellent. The tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations.
Wow.
The millennium is almost upon us, and everything is in place for the rise of our new order.
Oh.
Almost.
Almost.
Professor, where is the broken sword?
As we discussed last time, with the loss of the manuscript, our search is as a corollary hindered.
It's a guy from Honolulu.
And as discussed last time, you have been furnished with a dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
We are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say, our predecessors,
Hold on. These are the Templars?
must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of Baphomet's location. I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out that trail.
I trust these historians and archaeologists are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lochmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we have a sacred duty? A trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the order, we lost the sword and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short. We need results, not petty bickering, not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course, my apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword, manuscript or no. We have already found another element actually within Paris.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, we're not exactly sure at present.
Ha!
But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the hospital.
That's him.
Marquet was a liability. Eklund dealt with him on my orders.
I beg your pardon, Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
We already know 3 of the elements. We know that Klausner had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
All right, so we're back. So George is now no longer looking through the hole, but so the minute he looked through the hole, he saw these. How many were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Were there 6? 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 people standing in a circle around like a small pole in the middle, like a stone. Some stone structure there, and they were first, chanting together their real spooky shit, and then we find out as they're talking, like, hold on, these are the Templars, Neo-Templars. So they're talking about their predecessor, and they're talking about these different things, like the governments have failed them, they need a new order, all the old governments, our time is now. So this is no longer just a it is a conspiracy, I suppose, but yeah, this is the lizard people now. They are the Knights Templar. They seem to want to take over the world, I guess, take over from all the other governments, and they need the sword of Baphomet. Again, we get this idea about Baphomet and this broken sword. And then the guy from the unpronounceable Eastern European state was there talking about, like, the manuscript being missing that helped him lead to the broken sword. And all these things about, Hassan, the Syrian, that is Khan. He's a Syrian that he's trying to stop them, apparently. And Klausner, again, he mentioned that guy Klausner that Jacques Marquet mentioned. By the way, the Bocuse Doctor was there, and he had the orders from the Grand Master, that has to be him, he's in control of the meeting, to eliminate him. And then Klausner, nothing has been found out about Klausner. He was in Syria, and he talked about a lens. What lens? Anyways, let's save again, because you would think George is no longer looking through this hole here. You would think the meeting is over. So if we would go back down here, okay, the meeting's over. We'll just go down there and see what happens.
I could hear voices from the lit area.
Nope, it's not over yet. You're not supposed to go straight away again, which means go back and look through the hole. The meeting is not finished. So let's look at them talk to each other again.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet. I hope that I don't need to emphasize the importance of finding it.
Jesus.
Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition. The new millennium will belong to us. The next time that we meet, it will be to become the princess of this world!
Yeesh! George just like, what the hell did I just want? And then they all went on a boat, and now they are gone from the site. So now it is safe to go downstairs. They're no longer there. So basically they want a new world order under control under these so-called Templars. They call themselves basically the Templars. And they don't have the manuscript, obviously, which has made the search for the sword of Baphomet harder for them. But we have the manuscript, but we're not really sure what it's all about. So what is this thing here?
In the middle of the circle was a stump of stone, a shaft of daylight from the world above lancing down to touch it.
I see. Interesting. Shall we look at this stone a little bit?
I noticed 3 small notches around the edge of the stump's top.
3 small notches. What could have something with 3 things sticking out? Could it be a tripod? Let's look at the floor again. We never looked at the floor. Let's look.
On the circle's circumference were the Templar seal and 2 Latin phrases. Non omnis moriar and clarior e tenebris. I shall not die completely, the brighter from the darkness.
Interesting. Is there something we can do more with?
There was a large circle marked out on the floor with a stump in the middle. Around the circle, I could see words inlaid into the stone.
Yes, we already checked it out. But yeah, it's pretty obvious the tripod can go on here. Look. He just put the tripod on, which means now we'll put the gem on the tripod. What will happen? The gem, the light...
The light falling from above struck the gem and scattered in 5 neat rays, and each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the seal, I could read M-A-R-I-B. Marib. Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant.
Marib. What on earth can Marib be? Oh, we're back at Nico's apartment, so now we're gonna tell Nico there's so much stuff that has happened now.
Nico, I've seen them.
He bars through the door.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
And you saw the Knights Templar?
I saw a bunch of guys masquerading as Templars.
He's sitting on the sofa. Pretty chill.
They're after something called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet. The manuscript is the key, just as we thought. It shows the way to the broken sword, whatever that is.
And how does the assassin fit into all this?
He's out to stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Plantar was one of them.
He was
the
first
assassin
treasury.
killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, how do they hope to find the sword?
I don't know. They said something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria. But they didn't seem to realize the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone, I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription. I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem split the beam and lit the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib.
Marib is a village in Syria.
Then the Neo-Templars are ahead of us. Klausner beat me to it.
You're not thinking of going there yourself, are you?
Why not?
These guys are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay, what about the tripod?
I'll send it back to Andre, anonymously.
So we're getting rid of the gem and the tripod. So, quite the development. All of a sudden, we're gonna go to Syria. To Marib in Syria. Klausner is already there looking for lens. But we have quite the lead now. We found the hint at the very meeting place they were at in Montfaucon. So, let's say goodbye to Nico.
Do you think I should go to Marib?
Syria is a long way, Georges.
So, she's basically saying Syria is a long way, but that's what's going to happen next. We're going to go to Syria. We're going to go to Marib. I'm going to end this here today. I've already gone 1.5 hours or something like that, yeah? Yeah, let's end it here. Okay, save real quick. Save. All right. So, I'll end the episode here. We're going to Marib next to try to look for any clues there, to look for this Klausner guy, to look for the lens that he has. And, like I said, this part would be in the new director's cut. You would have had to go into Montfaucon first and then go to Syria before being able to go to Spain first. Before being able to go to Spain. But so I decided to do the order that is only available here in this original game. Well, you could do it both ways, but not in the director's cut. So I wanted to show you how you can do it this way in the original game. Go first to Spain, get the challenge, and then go to Montfaucon, find out about the Templars, find out about their plot, trying to find where the Sword of Baphomet, and then finding out that the clue with the gem and the tripod leads us to Marib in Syria. But what else happens then? We'll find out. Let's save the game once again. I just want to be sure that I haven't lost anything here. And let's call it quits for now, and I'll continue making more videos of Broken Swords, Shadow of the Templars walkthrough and review. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, the 7th episode, right? Yes, I hope it is. Yeah, it is. All right, until next time, you guys take care. See ya. Take care. Bye-bye.